It's been nearly 2 months since the launch of the Switch 2. The dust from the initial sales frenzy of the system and the games and the accessories and all that has finally settled, and we're starting to slowly get little bits of information about how various things have sold. And according to gaming analyst Matt Piscatella, we have an idea of how much Nintendo's official camera accessory has sold so far. I have no idea why or how he would have this information. I mean, you're talking about a product that launched all over the world. I feel like usually no one is really going to know how well an official Nintendo product sells unless Nintendo actually publishes that information. So yeah, I'm really not 100% sure, but he claims to know. He doesn't have exact numbers, or at least he's not giving exact numbers, but he does seem to have something of an idea of the attach rate, the percentage of people who bought a Switch 2 who also picked up this particular accessory. That's the attach rate. And he says that the official Nintendo camera had a mid-single digit percentage attach rate. Mid-single digit. So I take that to mean, somewhere between 4 and 6. Assuming he is correct, then, maybe you could say 5, split the difference. Roughly 5% of people who have bought a Switch 2 so far have also bought the official camera accessory. It's not a super high number, and if you want to compare it to another much more popular accessory, the official Switch 2 Pro controller has an attach rate of more like 33%, like about 1 in 3 Switch 2 owners have a Switch 2 Pro controller. I still haven't picked mine up yet. I've been really mean. I haven't gotten to the store. I've just been using my regular one, and it's been doing fine. I don't really want to spend the money, but I hear it's really, really good, and I want to experience the HD Rumble for myself, But hey, that's a good point, though. Like, that's a very expensive accessory, and it's not even really strictly necessary if you already have a Pro controller for the Switch 1, and yet, still, 1 in 3 people have picked it up. You could argue that attach rate may be a little bit higher than it will be down the line. Generally, the people who, early adopters for a system are a little bit more enthusiastic, the more loyal crowd, the kind of people who have no qualms at all with just, dropping a bunch of money on a system and games and accessories and whatnot at the beginning of a generation, getting all hyped up and just being like, whatever. It's expensive, but I'm just going to do it. Whereas, down the line, I would not be surprised if that attach rate kind of slowed down, cooled a bit, however you want to put it. I don't know, that's pure speculation. But yeah, so compared to the Pro controller, the camera, it costs $55, and it has not sold super well. It is a much, 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 much lower number. And I don't want to be super duper sensational about it and just be like, oh no, this is completely failing. Everybody hates game chat. This camera was a bad idea. Apparently, this number is in line with Mr. Piscatella's expectations, so maybe Nintendo had similar expectations. And it must be acknowledged that the Nintendo camera is not the only camera that will work with your Switch. Really, any USB camera will work, which was, I don't know. On the one hand, I want to say I'm surprised Nintendo allowed that, but it could be one of those things where it would have been a little bit too far. If you absolutely had to buy the official one, then maybe people would have just been like, okay, fine, I'll just not. I don't know. But yeah, it's good that they allow you to use any old webcam. So that is definitely going to cut into the sales. For sure, especially considering the official one. Yeah, it's $55, but you can probably get a similar one for a good, I see people all over the place just being like, I just got a Logitech one for $25 and it works absolutely fine. I don't even know what the official judgment is on how the Nintendo one compares to other ones, quality for price and whatnot. I'd be surprised if it was a better deal than those. This is an official Nintendo product we're talking about. It doesn't really do anything better than they do beyond, I don't know, the privacy shield. I guess not every webcam has a thing you can, flip down or whatever. I just unplug it, but whatever. Point is, it's true that, it was never gonna sell that much But I don't know, maybe I still do feel like that number is a little bit low, just because you look at the Switch 2 and versus the original Switch, and you're like, okay, what's the new thing? What's the fun, gimmicky, Nintendo-flavored kind of new thing that sets this system apart from the first system? It's really two things. I mean, it's mainly the mouse functionality, you know, and even that is like I do think it's really great, and I think it's going to have a big impact in the long run in terms of like what kinds of games can be ported to the system, and it's going to really enhance the experience in a lot of games. But it's, I mean, you know, it's not huge. So then like the secondary thing, like game chat and all that, it's kind of secondary to that. The primary hook is already not like the biggest, craziest thing in the entire world. And so then, yeah, like the kind of the secondary, that much smaller is the whole like, hey, like Nintendo finally wants us to play stuff online. I mean, they've been giving us games that you can play online for a long time, but now they like extra super particularly want you to play with friends online, and they want you to chat with each other right there on the system, and to do it in a special Nintendo-y fun kind of way. So yeah, I mean, like that still is kind of a new thing for Nintendo, and the way that they advertised it, you know, when they first revealed the Switch, made it seem like it was pretty important to them. You know, like they really did want this to be a thing. I mean, and you know, we've talked about it plenty. It does make sense. It's just, it's one of those like self-marketing things. You want people to connect and be playing online with each other and recording videos of themselves. And it's a social thing. The more you get people to socialize using your games, the more, in theory, the more of kind of a draw it is, and the more it kind of markets itself. They want friend groups to be all game chatting and having a goofy time with their faces on the screen, and then all the other friends are like, I want to get in on that. So yeah, point is, obviously game chat was a pretty important thing for Nintendo. So seeing that few people, like what, okay, yeah, if we assume 5%, I don't know what the official number is. I don't even know if we know what the official number is now. I don't know. Could we say like 5 million? It may even be more than that. I don't know how much they've been restocking over the last couple months. We could say like 5 million. So, you know, 5 million Switch 2s, 10% would be 500,000. So 5% would be 250,000 units total across the entire world. It does seem low. It really does seem kind of low. But at the same time, this is just the very, very beginning. You know, like the Switch 2 is gonna go on to sell 100 million plus. So like, even if that attach rate stays even almost the same, then in the long run, you're gonna see way better numbers. They're gonna make a really good amount of money on the accessory. At the same time, what if my earlier speculation is true for this as well, where over time you're going to get even less people buying the camera accessory with the Switch. These people were just caught up in the hype and they just wanted to buy it all right there at the store, but like maybe in the long run, fewer people will. I don't know. And then you could also argue that like not every accessory has to sell millions and millions and tens and millions to be profitable. You know, there are plenty of official Nintendo accessories that are just kind of like whatever, you know, like there are plenty of third-party companies that sell their stuff. Clearly they're not selling a whole bunch, but it's still worth it to make them and put them on the shelves. And Nintendo themselves, they have, you know, like the charging grip, you know, like I need a grip for my Joy-Cons, but one that also charges them. It's not like the most useful thing in the world. There is a market for it, but like how big could it possibly be? But it's still worth it for Nintendo to sell it. I guess what's got me thinking about it and talking about it is just the fact that it isn't just some random accessory. It's a part of Nintendo's whole pitch for the system, the whole game chat thing. It was really important to them, and yet reception has not been great. I've really only seen people that I know and people online just being like, yeah, I'm never touching that. You know, like no one seems to care. Everybody already has their own ways of communicating with people, you know, Discord or whatever. Like, they're already used to it, especially because Nintendo kind of made people had to. They had to come up with an alternative because Nintendo didn't provide any kind of onboard chat system on their systems for so long that people like they already have the alternatives. So now that Nintendo is doing this, like, yeah, most people really just don't seem to care. I still think it's kind of cool, and I guess it's because I don't have a lot of experience playing with my friends online. I don't already have I mean, like, you know, I use Discord, but like just getting on a call with people while I play games is not like a thing that I automatically could just like know how to do in like a second. And yet there is a novelty to having your faces in the games. Like, I stand by that. You know, you're playing Mario Party and you've got your face on there or whatever. Like, that's cute. That's something that you can't do by just using Discord. And I still think that's cool. But yeah, no, like most people do not seem to care about game chat at all. In fact, when the Switch launched and I was playing Mario Kart with a friend and I was like, should we use game chat? He laughed at me. He was like, no. So there you go. And so I don't know. I'm looking at this number and it's like, is that in line with what Nintendo expected? Or is that kind of low? You know, like, has the reception to game chat, the adoption rate of the feature itself, has it been in line with what Nintendo wanted, or did they anticipate more people wanting to use it? And is that reception reflected here in the sales? I mean, you know, Nintendo, they tend to sometimes have a little bit of like an insulated idea of the industry. Not always, and they're getting better, but like, you know, I could see them being like, we thought everybody was going to want to use game chat. Like, just not quite get, you know, whereas like Mr. Piscatella, again, he's like, no, this is in line with what I expected, but I don't know. Is it in line with what Nintendo expected? We don't always know what Nintendo expects. Sometimes they have unrealistic expectations. So I don't know. Part of me keeps wondering if this was worth making a whole video about. Just, you know, like learning the attach rate of the official Nintendo camera. I think it really just comes down to my fascination with the whole game chat thing and people's reception to. I think that's what's happening here. This is a relatively small bit of information, but it's kind of feeding into something that's already kind of been on my mind. And I think that's what's making me really just think about it and want to talk about it. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what the attach rate is down the line. Will it stay the same? Will it go up? Will it go down? And I mean, I want to say, will reception to game chat change? But I don't know why it would. You know, I kind of feel like, you know, again, early adopters, they're the enthusiasts. If anyone is going to be like really using the new thing, the fun new thing with the system, is probably going to be them. At the same time, I can't necessarily say that because going forward, you're going to get a lot more kids getting in on this. You know, like most of these pre-orders were probably snatched up by hungry adults, whereas like, you know, holiday season, you're going to get a lot more given to kids, and kids might not have access to like Discord and all their own devices and whatnot. They may really appreciate the ability to use game chat. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it will increase in the, see what I mean? Like this is just, I'm just thinking about it now. I guess I gotta stop thinking about it and go do something else.